It is a well-known fact that if you can't get your gun out of your holster, you can't hit the target. So I get a lot of questions about draw and holster type, retention holster, concealed carry holster, and why I draw and why I do certain things, or why you see instructors or people out there motioning their hands in a certain way when they're drawing their pistol, specifically when it comes to a retention style holster where your gun just doesn't passively fall out of it. So we're gonna go over that today because that's a question that's come up a lot and you guys obviously deserve that information. So we're gonna talk about two types of holsters today, retention and a passive retention or friction retention only from concealed carry. And we're gonna go over how I draw and why my hand placement is the way it is, because these are all things that are going to help you not only establish a good grip, keep yourself safe, but obviously get good rounds on target downrange.
Now a word from our sponsors.
I'm staying healthy and I'm staying hydrated. Make sure you check out the battle bottles. Everybody needs one so you don't pass out on the range. All right, so since I got a camera guy back there and I want him to feel safe,
thank you.
We're gonna make sure that everything's clear. There's no ammo in our immediate working environment, which is gonna be the holster and the pistol. So coming from a retention holster, we're gonna have to overcome whatever that retention is. There's a video I did out there on some of the best duty holsters. You guys can watch that if you choose to, if you're looking for a duty holster. This is for security, law enforcement, training, military. You need some form of retention, right? So when you draw a pistol, especially from your first line, which is known as your gun belt or your battle belt, whichever you want to call it, that's called your first line, right? Everything that you would wear in a plate carrier, that's going to be your second line, because this is your immediate action, whether it's reload, draw, everything's going to come from that primary or first line. So when it comes to hand positioning, and this is going to be very basic, I'm not going to be teaching grip or anything like that, there's a couple things you want to pay attention to. One, obviously your primary hand and building that good primary grip. So that primary grip right here, the master grip, is going to determine how fast you can shoot, how accurate you're going to be able to shoot, how fast your follow-up shots can be, because if you're loose in here, you don't get that good high tang grip, things aren't going to work out well for you. So you need to know where that holster is, right? Whether you're feeling it up the side to get used to it, you need to know right where it is and right where that thumb brake is if you're running a retention holster. So as you draw, you're gonna have to push down, defeat that mechanism. You're gonna have to draw up to clear that holster and then begin building that grip. Now, the other main focus is gonna be, what do we do with the other hand, right? Because we don't just wanna leave it out here, we need to give that hand a job, right? Because if you leave your hand out here, you're very likely to pass the muzzle, okay, right over your hand, which is bad, right? You don't ever want to muzzle or point the barrel of your weapon at anything you're not willing to destroy, you know, or purchase, something like that. And I don't want to destroy my hand. So that is the reason why you see most people either come in very tight here. Some people will place their hand on their stomach or their sternum. Me, I come like this, I draw, my gun is right there. I can shoot from here, I can do whatever I want, or I can come out and establish that good grip and that good firing position. So those are the basics of why you see people's hands move in tandem, right? You can do two things at once. This hand can go here, this hand can go here. We draw that pistol, get it up, get it into the working environment. If you want to use a count system, which a lot of people teach, which is, you know, 1, 2, you can do that, right? We're not going over all that stuff today. This is merely why the hands are doing what they're doing and the basics of a clean draw. If you want to have a count system, completely up to you. Me, I just believe in smooth action. I don't want to count because if you think about it, if you get stuck right here, you don't want to be stuck thinking 1, 1, 1. You want to be able to just complete that smooth draw, because the pistol doesn't come out of the holster perfectly smooth every single time, especially when it's a locking holster. Now, again, push down, good grip, defeat the mechanism, come up, offhand has a job right here, marry that primary hand. We come out and we're going to do whatever drill or react to whatever threat out there on the range that the instructor is giving us for that day. So to give you a clean and dry example of how this looks, whether it's the call of threat or gun or whatever it is, shot timer, you basically are gonna have your hands in whatever position you wanna start in. You're gonna move both your hands at the same time, acquire that primary grip, pressing down, defeating that mechanism on the holster. How you wanna come up, whether you wanna be able to work from here, that is fine, right? The faster you can get the pistol into the environment, the better off you're gonna be. Come here, marry that primary hand to the secondary or your backup and begin your drill, whichever you want to do. It's actually pretty simple, and once you get more and more time, you can go faster and faster, but start slow, just smooth motions. Let your body get used to that so it understands where the holster is, where the retention mechanism is, and to the point where you can literally sit there and draw very cleanly, very smoothly, work the speed up, and do what you need to do out on the range. So let's run a drill or two, right? Why not? That's what we're here for. Let's load up. We will make ready here. Get rid of that empty. And let's just do a build drill and a transition. We'll go slow on the first one, and then we'll pick up the speed with the shot timer. All right, so let's pick the speed up a little bit. That was a 2.38 for 6 rounds. Little reload drill there, flub. So that went down to 1.67, but ran out of ammo. So we're gonna run that one again for a full 6. Never be afraid to put your flubs in a video. Okay, so 201, 6 rounds, even with a little bit of trigger freeze in there, as you could hear the cadence of that. But overall, you can see the mechanics of working through that drill. Having a reload in there, you know, nobody's perfect, so flub that one up. But not everybody out there wears a gun belt or a military style battle belt. Maybe some of you do for training, maybe some of you do for work, but I'm willing to bet that probably 90% of you out there are gonna be carrying from concealed. So what's different about a concealed carry draw versus a pistol draw from a holster? And it's a lot. There's basically things that are similar, but there's a very different way you draw that based on placement on your body, where it's concealed. Are you wearing it in the belt line? You wearing it in a fanny pack? And that's what we're going to talk about next. All right, now that the gun belt is gone, we're talking about concealment. So I am running a Tier 1 MSP holster in my Shadow Systems XR 920p, the comped version. And the cool thing about the MSP holster from Tier 1 is it locks onto the light, so you can run all kinds of different pistols in this thing, from big ones to small ones, whatever you're into. I don't care what you do in the comfort of your own home, but it just makes it easy to conceal and easy to carry around multiple different things in the appendix position. So we're gonna focus on this today because that's how I carry when I'm carrying concealed. Sometimes I will carry in that 3 o'clock position. That's pretty rare these days, so generally right here. So the draw is similar in certain ways. You still wanna build your grip, but the mechanics of how you draw is different, because instead of defeating a retention mechanism on the side of our holster, we've got to defeat clothing, garment, and then get in here and access our pistol. There's a lot of different ways that people teach how to draw from concealment like this. Some people say grab the bottom of the shirt here. Some people say grab the shirt around the holster area because it's a little bit loose and kind of baggy in that area. And ultimately that's up to you. What I will tell you is a lot of times if you try to grab down here to the bottom of the shirt, you'll miss it, or you won't get it all the way over that holster. So what I like to do is grab in this area, grab a lot of material, as much as you can, and get that material up to about sternum level, and that gives you full access to that pistol. If you come here and you catch on something, like right now, it's caught on the edge of the pistol grip right there, you might grab shirt or whatever else in there. So again, grab here, pull up, access that pistol, come up. Our offhand has its job, but it's also right where we need it to be to come out and finish that draw and then holster. Now, the appendix position is one that a lot of people don't feel comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with it, place your holster somewhere else. If you are comfortable with it, the one thing I will tell you is, as you draw the pistol, to maintain an additional level of safety, because this is pointed at a lot of things that we don't want to put a round in, like our naughty bits, and in a chaotic environment, we got to be careful. What I like to do is when I draw, I actually lean back. By leaning back a little bit, one, it frees up that gun a little bit from my waist area, and it also begins to point the muzzle away from me. Along with the back side of this holster, there are some bumps and humps built into the rear of it to push it out like this from my body. That way the muzzle's not pointed anything you don't want it to point at. So as you lean back, it's clearing itself, and as you draw, you're not having to worry about that muzzle covering your naughty bits, your femoral arteries, and all that good stuff. So a good draw example is going to be from whatever position you start in. Could be up here, could be hands down, doesn't matter. Grab that shirt, pull high, come out, and you'll begin to get very smooth with that. So let's go ahead, we'll load up, make ready, and we'll run a couple of drills showing you how to run it from concealment. Those are the basic mechanics of a draw, whether you're doing it from a gun belt with a retention holster or whether you're doing it from a concealed carry holster like this. But the good thing is here, yes, we were having some fun on the range, we were shooting live rounds, but what you guys don't see, because it's not always on camera, is how much dry fire practice I do at home. Because since I test so many products and holsters and I have so many different ways of carrying things, I have to do a lot of dry fire, and dry fire, dry practice is free. So I know right now that I have an unloaded pistol, but I have my holster ready to go and everything, so I can literally sit in a safe environment, point in a safe direction, and I can practice my draw, my trigger press, and I can do that over and over and over again until I feel comfortable with my new holster, my new pistol, maybe a different placement, and it's free. Do it in the comfort of your own home, do it at your own leisure, and none of that is going to cost you a dime unless you consider money as time, because time is legitimately money. Again, don't be concerned about time. I used a shot timer out here. That's for me personally to see where I'm at in my training and my skills, and can I maybe get a little faster, or maybe do I need to slow down if I'm not getting the hits I want. Make sure you guys check out ironinfidel.com if you're into fitness gear, where you need to stay hydrated, because we got the battle bottles, we got the fitness gear, and nobody wants to dehydrate out there on the range in the summertime. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment down below on what you want to see next here on the Iron Infidel channel, because this video came at subscriber request, and I'll see you on the next one. Trigger finger freeze, trigger finger freeze. Camera guy, did you touch my mag pouches? Camera guy, did you touch my mag pouches?